upper right now, folks. In the red, he is for Berserker Esports, the German Protoss, ForJumy.
And his opponent in the blue, playing for Team Sentex instead, German himself, it is GunGFuBanDa.
You know, Akon, you always you love seeing new orgs pop up. And Berserker Esports, for example, has been around for a while, but they were a community. They were a clan. They did some stuff, but they certainly did not sponsor pro players. And then they decided, yeah, we want ForJumy, and they had some other players. I don't remember who else they had right now, but we'll talk about that later, because we got the parting 2-gate Forge build coming up from ForJumy in this game number 1. Maybe trying to take advantage of the long rush distance of Hardwire, but already ForJumy getting aggressive as hell. He's got a where are he? Oh, yeah. He's got one pylon down here. I thought that's the second, right? Okay, that's the probe.
Yep.
So he's got a pylon right there. He's going to start to drop some cannons, and this one's a bit interesting because, well, it's all about the zealots as well. But GunGFuBanDa, he already has his forge on the way. He's done. He's going to defend the high ground pretty well, and already looking a little spooky.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know what is it today with Hardwire and cannons. Looks like a very good pairing. And GunGfu was able to scout it immediately and have a very fast reaction. But that doesn't mean by any means that this is not going to be a successful run anyway. It all started out pretty good for ForJumy. You can see this cannon going out pretty quickly. There's 2 pylons here for GunGFuBanDa. One of them is going down, but then it's time for the zealots to get in.
And here comes the Great Forward. We're talking about, okay, this feels pretty good. The cannon was not really where it needed to be, or not defended properly, so that cannon, while it completes quicker, it goes down rather quickly as well. Cannons adding their DPS onto these stalkers, but there's a shield battery now, so that is something that makes life a little bit easier. And ooh, that's unfortunate. The probe goes down here as well, so we're not going to see the cannons creep forward quite as easily. We see, of course, ForJumy dispatching another probe onto the other side of the map, but GunGFuBanDa already, he has his counter pressure on the ready here. He feels confident that this hold will happen with these stalkers. So yeah, he loses a gateway, but the zealots are going to go down, and this is a much more expensive bit of pressure from ForJumy than what we saw from Art in that last series. And there's a pylon on the other side of the map, and yeah, that makes a lot of sense. When you're getting proxied and cannons are on the other side of the map, and you know your opponent most likely does not have a Cybercore, you know what makes a lot of sense? Void Rays. Void Rays make a lot of sense, Akon.
Yeah, like, this is almost certainly going to be like a GG coming for ForJumy. It wasn't able to deal enough damage, as you were saying. Losing that probe hurts a lot. And now, yes, he's gonna probably be placing a pylon, getting a gateway, not a gateway, sorry, a cybernetic core. Yeah, that's the word. And start getting some stalkers out. But yeah, his gateways are pretty out of the way, and warp gate not gonna be here anytime soon.
Yeah, no, it won't be. But the zealots have actually found this shield battery, and they're gonna knock that down before the force forward array comes out. Did the probe go down as well? Does not look like it. So yeah, the zealots here, they're going to cause some problems. Another pylon goes down, but not before this first pylon will complete. And it's kind of hard. It looks like GunGFuBanDa has been able to break out with these stalkers on the other side. So he's going to find this pylon, knock them. Okay, 2 stalkers will pop out. This is actually starting to become a bit of a problem here, Akon, because this pylon will not die before the stalkers arrive. One stalker of GunGFuBanDa already rather low. It's taking a while for this forward array to pop out because the pylons keep getting knocked down by the zealots. GunGFuBanDa's got to run back home with that single stalker because he only has that one stalker. You don't win that fight. And the Void Ray is going to barely get out at the end of the day. And as much as I'm saying, okay, you know, this is a disaster, certainly with the Void Ray popping out and really not a lot of anti-air, it's going to be hard. But shield battery here in the main base. Oh, that stalker does not want to be there. It's going to be able to save itself in the nick of time, though. And while I like the idea from GunGFuBanDa, I don't really like it anymore.
Yeah, like, this Void Ray felt more like a tool to stay in the game than it felt like something able to deal damage. It forced out a recall, and it got some pressure off his shoulders, but yeah, that is not what this Void Ray was intended to do in the first place. And now, it might be good and well alive. But I do feel like ForJumy with this forward position is in a much better spot, and this Void Ray certainly wasn't what GunGFuBanDa expected it to be.
Akon, did I miss something? Like, are we watching NA right now? Because this certainly does feel like a your classic NA clown fiesta. Is that Stalker will go down trying to defend the pylon, but it looks like GunGFuBanDa says, I'm a little worried about this. I don't know what's going to come out of those gateways, so whatever. But 3 gateways done for GunGFuBanDa. 4th one on the way. Blink on the way here as well. Yeah, he says, okay, round 2 of my aggression. Meanwhile, ForJumy, he's got a natural. And most importantly, he has a Dark Shrine, because there is no detection for GunGFuBanDa. I don't know that we will have detection in this game for GunGFuBanDa. So as long as ForJumy is able to sandbag it out long enough, is able to stay alive for this, these DTs would end the game.
Yeah, there's a Void Ray, the Void Ray from GunGFuBanDa going straight into the main of ForJumy, so he might be able to see that before it happens. And that could be a good thing, but this Void Ray is definitely not going that way, and he's stopping before he can ever scout the Dark Shrine. That might have been his saving grace. Yes, Blink is delayed by a little bit, but I don't see this Void Ray making the step forward he needs to do.
You're right. This is a glorious little mind game here from ForJumy, knowing that Void Rays are out on the map. He says, yeah, I'm going to research Blink. Absolutely, I'm going to get Blink. Don't worry about it. And I mean, he will want Blink. I mean, that's not really in dispute, but DTs are by far the most important thing in this game. As ForJumy does lose the ability to warp in from a couple gateways, so he only has 1 DT out right now. But he does have to use these defensively. He cannot. He's going to keep sending it on the other side of the map. Okay. Here come the Stalkers of GunGFuBanDa. He's up 20 army supply. Yes, ForJumy does hold the ramp, but the Blink is done here. And that's just about it. So you blink in. We need to see that defensive DT popping in right now. Here it goes. Shield Batter Overcharge popped. 1 DT on the other side of the map. 1 DT doing what it can to keep GunGFuBanDa from killing ForJumy. But it does not matter, because ForJumy does not have the production required. GunGFuBanDa, he takes game 1.
It was a wild ride. I don't know what else to say. Like, roller coaster through and through. It started rough, it ended very rough, and in the middle, so many rope bumps. It was a very weird game. I do feel like the winner of this game definitely capitalized on the chaos that was brought upon him and was able to keep a little bit of a cooler mind even after his target not really doing too much. But in the end, I do feel like it was a very well-deserved victory overall for just the decision-making, most likely.
You know, Akon, we have a term for this, for these type of games. It is called a clown fiesta. And
yeah, I didn't want to be this rough. Come on.
No, I mean, when the game goes crazy, I don't know if you're familiar with other esports necessarily, but there's a quote from a Dota pro who pretty much says, when the game goes crazy, you have 2 choices. You can try to play the standard game, and then you will probably lose, or just go with it. And if you just go with it, that's effective. That's a much better way to go. So just lean into the insanity and go from there.
Yeah, I do agree. In these kind of situations, what you want to do is just make decision with your stomach, like take it with guts. And that's what happened here. Very cocky move on the side of GunGFuBanDa. And in the end, like that Dark Shrine, it was looking a cool move. We were talking about I was probably able to end the game with it. But in the end, more stuff is able to beat less stuff, even if you can't see less stuff.
Exactly. And one thing we forgot about in that last game, and well, maybe it was true, there were a lot of cannons that I kind of forgot about on GunGFuBanDa's side of the map. So even with the DTs running across, it wasn't going to be able to make that happen. But I think it would have been able to hold defensively, and then maybe if you kill all that army, you're going to be fine. But anyways, folks, game number 2 of our second series. Is it going to be another 2-0, or are we going to have something, going to finally hit a 3-game series? I don't know, but folks, it is game number 1 ready now. Let's get into it. Or game 2, and in the upper right, in the red, he's down 1 game of this series. His cannon gate shenanigans did not work whatsoever. He is ForJumy.
And his opponent, he needs this victory here on 2000 Atmospheres, bottom left-hand corner. Playing for Team Centex, it's GunGFuBanDa. Yeah, we were talking about like cannons being a thing, but yeah, cannons can move through the map.
No,
So-
they can't. Sure.
Unless you're playing Zeratul. Unless you're
a,
playing Zeratul in cope.
Wasn't there a? I believe at one point, like the Wings of Liberty Alpha cannons were mobile. Like they move slowly.
Was that a thing?
Yeah, in the beta. Then they got rid of it
my-
because it was too broken.
Like, imagine that and now remember something such as the Mothership Core. Yeah, those were the days, huh?
Well, I mean, Wings didn't have the Mothership Core. That was added in HUD.
Yeah.
So.
It was in, yeah, but it served a kind of a similar purpose. It was used as an all-purpose defensive unit. Yeah, not really, not always.
Anyway, we got a pylon on the map here from ForJumy trying to speed run any percent this series. What do we have? The game 1 was 7 minutes. We're gonna have to see if he's gonna be able to bring us to game 3 in a similar amount of time. But for now, pylon on the map, and well, actually, with there's no probe there. It looks like it will just be Schrodinger's pylon for now. But an interesting spot to put Schrodinger's pylon. Right? Normally, you would just see if the pylon that you proxy and you don't use would go on the corner of the map. But for now, nothing too crazy from either side. 2-gate expand, all that fun stuff. We got a chance this game's gonna be a little more standard now.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. We see the Stargate coming out of GunGFuBanDa, and that might mean a couple things. It all depends on what is going to be the starting unit out of this Stargate most of the times. This pylon in the middle, again, I'm not too sure what is the purpose of it, but I don't really see it more than just being maybe mind games.
Oh yes, it's Schrodinger's pylon. It's the whole, I didn't put a pylon in my main base. Be very afraid. It's like, okay. You're not building anything with it. I just think the positioning there is a bit interesting. But ForJumy, he's on the map now. He's going to knock down some vision there for just remove a little map control from GunGFuBanDa. But yeah, I'm curious to see where he goes from the Stargate. Looks like it will just be an Oracle. This is not really a Phoenix map, Akon. So for now, ooh, he's going to catch a stalker here, but not going to choose to chase.
Yeah, not overcommitting with this. He knows he has a Stargate behind this. He's not gonna be like ahead in army most likely, even if he is right now. He doesn't take a chance. He's playing a little bit more careful, and he's waiting for his Oracle to grant him the vision and, of course, the map control that is so much needed in mirror matchups.
Yeah, he does not want to take a chance, make a change, certainly not break away. It's interesting, though. Okay, well, I guess this isn't all that weird, but he does have a second Oracle on the docket here now. Of course, that means you can burst through shield batteries, and he's going to scout another pylon, but this one looks like it's something that ForJumy does actually want to use. He's keeping his probe with it, and the fact that GunGFuBanDa scouted both the pylon and the probe, well, that tells them a whole lot more. ForJumy's going to scout the main base. He's going to find that, okay, there's a Stargate, and that's fine. He's going to scout the second Oracle popping out as well, and again, ForJumy, he mimes pressure that he does not go for.
I really like this kind of play, like keeping the Oracle back for such a long time. Also getting with his hallucinated Phoenix a little bit of a scouting information. Got to see the second Oracle in the making, and I'm unsure if he saw the Tola Council as well. He did see the Tola Council as well. So basically right now, perfect information. He's gonna lose 4 probes and counting, actually. Oh, this Oracle is risking a little bit, dropping on Revelation, flying away. 5 probes down, but a lot of scouting information for ForJumy.
Yeah, it's not bad. ForJumy, of course, still has that worker lead because his Nexus was faster. He did not go for that Stargate opening, and he will have Blink a lot faster in this game. So for now, he's doing fine. If the Oracle's running again, maybe that's going to be a bit more of a problem. But again, for now, he's going to be okay. Although we may find him supply blocked because he just has all these random pylons on the map that he may or may not have intended to do something with, and then he just gets scouted and it does not happen. But ForJumy is doing a fantastic job of being greedy in this game. His third base already halfway done. We don't even see it started for GunGFuBanDa. So ForJumy, again, if he's able to keep this up, the fact that he's lost a couple probes really will not matter at the end of the day. That being said, though, with ForJumy getting supply blocked here, GunGFuBanDa has been much better at probe production. So despite ForJumy having that probe lead, even after the Oracle damage, GunGFuBanDa now starting to get ahead in things as ForJumy's just kind of cut probes just a little bit.
It's a very rough thing to predict what direction will these two players take the game into. We see both of them being extra careful about this. One thing that ForJumy has to always remember, these two Oracles just like Banshees in TV's here, like they're going to stay alive and be ready to strike when you least expect it, forcing out a lot of attention away for ForJumy, and you can see his army movements being so uncertain for that reason, while GunGFuBanDa already is taking his third Nexus and starting his own +1, as well as his opponent with the much slower blink you were talking about.
Yeah, I mean, look, for ForJumy, his third base has been up for a while now. He's starting to build that worker lead once again. Is he recalling? Yeah, he's recalling the Oracles. Okay.
Yeah.
And the surprising thing to me, actually, is GunGFuBanDa, he had his Forge much quicker, but we're going to have 1-1, right, or +1 right around the same time for both players. Charge on the way for ForJumy. And while the supplies are still rather similar in terms of army, at least, you know, within 7 total supply, ForJumy building up this 7 to 10 worker lead does mean that he will be in a fantastic spot, assuming he's able to hold this third base, because here comes the army of GunGFuBanDa. His +1 is not done, but Blink is here. He's going to supply block ForJumy once again, and that is the worst time for it to happen, right as the fight happens in earnest. No more warpins for ForJumy right now, but good force fields. It means he's going to be able to pair away at Stalker to start. Shield Battery keeps him alive, and for now, GunGFuBanDa will be rebuffed. In fact, he says, yeah, this is not going to work out whatsoever. Time for me to run on home, or prance on home, stalk on home. Stockholm?
I don't know what's the correct term, but what I can tell you is that this is a dead even game so far. Both players, strike by strike, doing pretty much the same exact things, and we're gonna see maybe the first thing that starts to differ between these two players. +2 started on the side of the blue Protoss, while the red one dropping out the Templar Archives, and that Archon count we talked about in the previous series might come to bite him in the back.
Well, we're gonna have to see. Akon, I got a question for you. What is the city that a stalker returns to? That they've lived their entire life in?
Oh god. Oh my goodness. What's the name of that city? I'm actually thinking about the thing in the campaign. The planet of the Dark Templars. Oh my god, what is it called?
No. It's Stockholm.
Yeah, I figured it was going there, but in my mind I was just thinking about, oh, what's that blue planet? And yeah, I won't remember.
Stockholm.
Shakuras. Yeah, not Stockholm.
Anyway, the Oracles, they fly in, 7 workers go down, and in fact, ForJumy, a couple of those probes were not mining for a while. I don't know if that was a result of a stasis trap or something earlier that he didn't get, but anyway, here come the Stalkers of ForJumy on the other side. They have upgrades. They're actually down to supply a little bit, but they're going to knock this Immortal down before things happen in earnest. Good force fields to pair away some of these Stalkers as they blink in. And ForJumy, he's not all in necessarily, but he does want to make something happen here, as we will see Stalkers in the natural. Pilot is starting to fall down here. That's a bit annoying, but still the cannons maintain their powered perspective. We're going to see the Warp Prism go down, but not before a couple Zealots pop out here on the map. But ForJumy, he has no Archons, and from a game where he actually had a fairly good position as these Stalkers run back, only 4 probes have died. He is losing a lot. He will lose net more, as he does have to recall. He didn't have to do that, Akon. That was a really awkward fight. He was in a great spot, and then he did that.
Yeah, that was a very awkward timing to go for that. That Warp Prism was way too exposed. Losing that means that basically you're never going to support your army anymore, and you're just gonna lose pretty much every single unit. You cannot recall. That exact thing happened, and when you lose a battle this big in a mirror matchup, it does hurt you way more than it does in every other matchup. And Protoss, it's even hurt more than other mirror races. Right now, ForJumy is in a very bad spot, and he needs to kind of make a miracle to make a comeback. And I just want to keep a close eye at the Archons. 3 on the side of the blue Protoss, 2 on the side of the red one. We have these Raptors at the ready. Those can be your comeback maneuver, but you have to need some miracle shots.
Exactly, and I mean, the Disruptors, they're not even there yet. They're just coming in right now, so here comes the army of GunGFuBanDa, up 20 army supply. It's a bit of an awkward position. Some of his army is on the left side, but now we see the Archons looking to run forward. GunGFuBanDa doing a fantastic job targeting down the Archons of his opponent here, so he's going to force ForJumy back once again, but here comes the shield battery overcharge. It's looking to do something, and there we go, Stalkers blink on top of it. So that's done, but actually now the Stalkers, they're out of blinks, and oh, good disruptor shot to start. One Archon getting very low, Stalkers falling as well. ForJumy actually doing a fantastic job of making the hold happen here. More Zealots, they warp in, trying to get on top of these incredibly low Archons. We're gonna see 1 pop, 2 pop, 3rd one, it's still pretty full, but ForJumy here on the chase. It's so hard to run away from this army composition, and yeah, he's gonna get these sentries as well. This last Archon, not long for this world, a little bit more, but no, ForJumy's got to back up because there's a run by onto the 4th base. Oracle gets its last damage, but 3 more probes fall. Fantastic fight for the Berserker Protoss.
Absolutely amazing, dropping down the +3 as well to establish an upgrade advantage in a dream situation, an outstanding defense, and a little bit of a shaky offense on the side of the Blue Protoss instead.
Yeah, and it's funny, we generally, when we see that fights like that, you say, okay, well, it flipped around because of the disruptor shot. The disruptor got like what, 1 Stalker and did damage to an Archon. It really was not the difference. It was the much better concave that ForJumy had, and the static defense and the shield batteries and everything like that. So ForJumy now, he finds himself up just a little bit in army supply. His army composition is arguably better. It is still GunGFuBanDa somewhat stuck on Charged Archon versus now ForJumy going double Robo Disruptor. That's a lot more splash damage, a lot more burst in that army. And Zealots and Archons, they don't split all that well. They like to clump up. They don't micro super easily, do they, Aegon?
Yeah, most definitely not. Once they charge, they're gonna be there sitting like ducks. And yeah, this Archon is not having any company whatsoever. Blink is a good thing to dodge those Novas, but it looks like the decision here is a Dark Shrine and maybe try to make something happen with some Dark Templars somewhere, and even a Robo Bay incoming for the Blue Protoss to maybe add some more disruptors of his own. But you were saying this, tech is a big thing, and it's totally in favor of ForJumy.
That it is, but hey, upgrades, they're pretty decently timed here. Robo Bay for GunGFuBanDa as
Shadow
well.
Stride.
Yeah, oh, yeah. At this point, if Shadow Stride saves you effectively one DT, it's worth it. So at the late game, when we're on 4 bases, when we're eventually on 5 bases, getting Blink DT, it's just worth it. It is just, the value is, it finds so much value over the course of the game that it's one of those things that as you're rounding out your tech, you absolutely should get. Surprised, actually, we haven't seen it from GunGFuBanDa just yet because he does have that Dark Shrine as well, but I guess he's more trying to round out his deck in the mid game because he is a little bit far behind. And there we go. Okay, there's the Shadow Stride, or as the Blizzard balance patch said recently, Blink.
Yeah, Shadow Stride is way cooler though, isn't it?
All right, so looks like we got a bit of a pause here, and they're saying, okay, we don't even need to go back to our faces. They're saying they're ready. So 3, 2, 1, we're back into the game. And by the way, I want to point out both players going for absolutely the most value upgrade in this game. Observer speed. It is just so useful, Akon. I don't know how you can play late game PvP without it, honestly.
Yeah, it sounds like overlay speed being such an overlooked upgrade, but it even if it doesn't look like it does enough, like having something on the map to keep track of whatever is happening is good. When you siege those up though, it is a little bit less useful. So you want to maybe check whatever is happening and maybe keep track of those Dark Templars.
You know, really what it is for these disruptor battles in the late game, you want to have that positive vision over your opponent so you can see where the balls are coming from, so you can tell whether you can blink out, blink in, do what you can. We're going to start to see, right now it's 3 observers to 1, but as this game goes later, I do expect to see both players go up to almost 5, 6 observers. The vision is that important, but for now, GunGFuBanDa, he's backing up just a little bit. ForJumy owning the left side of the map as GunGFuBanDa trying to own the right. 5th base on the way for ForJumy. GunGFuBanDa not quite there just yet, but with the fleet beacon going down, it looks like his air transition is just going to be a little bit faster right now, but even still, what are we at? Oh, big flank here from the Zealots as well. GunGFuBanDa's got a back up. Well, ForJumy's got a back up, and it looks like the disruptor shot's not really going to land anything. That flank found just about no value. We got to point out, though, ForJumy double the disruptor count of his opponent, which makes these fights just a little bit easier for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Even with those betrayer shots on his own stalkers, didn't really matter too much. You see GunGfu being, oh my goodness, mother of disruption novas. That was rough.
That it was. Now the Stalkers blink forward. One disruptor goes down. Second one. Good splits there from GunGFuBanDa, not losing too much when we talk about the disruptor lead. Not really there anymore. ForJumy has lost 6 in the last 30 seconds. The Zealots actually doesn't look like they found all that much on the right side, but here they come in now. GunGFuBanDa looking to break this game wide open, but a massive shot on the disruptors. The last ones, the last couple that ForJumy had in this army here. Even still, that's a scary army on the left side. Still more disruptors from GunGFuBanDa rallying on in. Looks like ForJumy may lose the 5th base, but he blinks on top of the disruptors on the backside. Takes a big shot there, and GunGFuBanDa now he's wedged himself into that 3rd base or the 5th base location, trying to knock that down. 14 workers fall. Do we even need detection with this army? Yes, we do, but it's not where the DTs are, so you got to pull that one back. Disruptors on the backside as well here. Stock is going forward. GunGFuBanDa just absolutely ping-ponging ForJumy back and forth with all the balls. 18 workers fall. Disruptors getting so much here, and ForJumy, he had a bit of a lead going into this stage of the game. It absolutely is not there anymore.
Marvelous disruptor control on the side of GunGFuBanDa. Incredible. One disruption nova after the other. He was able to get all the key units out of his opponent. We were talking about that disruptor advantage and how quickly he got out of hand. Then we had a couple good shots from ForJumy, but GunGfu was just the more consistent player throughout this very long fight.
That he was. We saw ForJumy commit to heavy DT play because he said, yeah, I'm on 5 bases. I got 10 gas. I can afford it. Well, now you're not. I do think it's kind of funny, though. Are we only on 1 Stargate? Fantastic. GunGFuBanDa, 1 Stargate carrier. You'll love to see it.
Because why not?
Fantastic. I mean, eventually you get critical mass, but we want to see some more Stargates here from GunGFuBanDa. Certainly the thing that is going to be the most complicating, though, is the fact that he has a mothership. And while there is detection, it is a nice HP sink. It can slow things down, and if the detection of ForJumy gets sniped, then suddenly that is truly a problem. But ForJumy, he's building 3 disruptors at a time here now. Here comes the army of GunGfu, though, and we're going to have to see what he can make happen, because while he did take great trades, ForJumy was mining more for a little bit, so he is able to spend that minor income advantage that he had for a bit. He's able to turn that into army once again as the DTs find their way on in. They find their way on out. Detection goes down here as well, so the Stalkers are looking to blink on forward. That's not going to get all that much. Meanwhile, GunGFuBanDa active on the other side of the map as well. He's knocking down this 4th base, or this 5th base, and he's already taking the upper left side, so he's really starting to come to a lead in this game, and it looked great for ForJumy after that hold. But it's feeling pretty spicy now for him to try to find a comeback.
Yeah, absolutely. Full control of the map. Every single attempt of ForJumy to actually make a counter was denied very heavily and punished on the other side. Now we see a little bit of a kind of a trade, I shall call it. But I do see the Red Protoss putting himself in a situation he cannot easily escape out of. Yes, Disruptors might zone the army of GunGFuBanDa for a little while, but will it be enough?
I mean, it's nice disruptor shots on probes, and I want to point out ForJumy, he's doing a pretty good job with these zoning disruptors, or at least he was, sending them out just to make sure that GunGFuBanDa cannot get too close, but ForJumy just killed 1 base. GunGFuBanDa has killed 2. He's got a 3rd one on the docket here. ForJumy has to get so much value with this pressure, and he can't even really take the fight here with the single carrier doing so much. And the mothership as well, he moves forward, tries to get that down. The flanking disruptor actually doesn't get all that much, and now we see GunGFuBanDa blinking on forward, just targeting all of these disruptors down, so there's going to be no miracle shot to bring ForJumy back in this game. He's got 18 probes, he finds the extra base. GGG, he says. GunGFuBanDa